Once again, I'm Greg Johnson, certified EMT, broadcasting on frequency 457 from the very ambulance I drove when all hell broke loose. Stay tuned and stand by. Here's what I remember about October 3rd, 2038. Dispatch pinged our radio. I was call taker at the time. Luke drove. I held a touchscreen tablet, the MDT, Mobile Data Terminal. The operator broadcasted, Medic 2, Ambulance 12, respond to Priority 1, cardiac event. Details appeared in the CAD system software on the MDT. A convenience store owner, male, 58 years old, possible cardiac emergency, unresponsive. As Luke turned onto West Hampshire Road, I got on the radio. Medic, 2 copies, I said. Ambulance 12 responding, ETA, 7 minutes. We arrived on Main Street at exactly 6:10 p.m. Luke maneuvered the ambulance onto the sidewalk close to the Hadidi Goods entrance. Several people crowded the open door, mumbling softly amongst themselves. Luke and I hurried past them and went inside. A female teenager was crying behind the counter near the cash register. She appeared to be the same ethnicity as the older woman kneeling beside the patient. I instantly knew this was a family. I stepped back and let Luke take the lead on this one. But that didn't stop me from observing the scene. At first, it seemed like a heart attack. Upon closer inspection, I noticed blood coming from the man's nose. Not a lot, just enough to immediately make me rethink my assessment. His eyes pooled with red tears. They trickled down his cheeks and across his face. Pink froth bubbled at the corners of his mouth and coated his lips. His breathing sounded wet and irregular. Every breath became a struggle for life. Luke glanced at me, and I looked at him. Neither of us said what we were thinking. We didn't need to. Our eyes said it all. This didn't look like any cardiac emergency we'd ever encountered. Once again, I'm Greg Johnson, certified EMT, broadcasting on frequency 457. Stay tuned and stand by. That morning, I rushed to the door while Luke got on his portable radio. I shut out all the looky-loos. Then I called in a patrol to clear out the crowd. I turned back toward the scene. The woman was pleading for Luke to save her husband. The daughter began crying harder, screaming for us to help her father. I hurried over and removed them from the area so Luke could work on the patient. I asked them to talk to me. The daughter, Bella Hadidi, said her father didn't seem too bad when they left the house. He had an occasional cough and would clear his throat. But later in the day, as he stocked goods onto the shelves, he began sneezing uncontrollably. He soon wandered out into the open and collapsed. Maisie, his wife, relayed he had actually been congested earlier. They slept with their bedroom window open like normally. But this morning, Ismail Hadidi showed signs of throat and nose irritation. He sneezed often, and they thought he was having an allergic reaction to the weather. I texted the family's accounts into a handheld device, which updated the emergency services CAD system simultaneously. I heard Luke gasp, and I looked his way. Ismail Hadidi held his eyes wide open. He pointed a feeble finger in my direction. For a few seconds, it seemed like Mr. Hadidi was trying to tell me something. There was fear painted all over this man's face. It was a kind of terror you don't forget. Ever. And brother, he wasn't the only one with terror on his face at that moment. Luke and I mouthed some shocked words at each other. Words we would never want a victim or his family to hear. But, yeah, we were spooked. Once again, I'm Greg Johnson, broadcasting on frequency 457. Stay tuned and stand by. The Hadidi women erupted again with anguish. I tried to keep them calm, but Luke needed my help. He waved me over and said, "Call him back up. We're going to need the hazard team on this." "Hazard?" I asked. But Luke wouldn't let me interrupt his train of thought. "Ask for Penny," he said. "If you get her, tell her to call CDC. Mr. Hadidi's weak hand lowered. He was still trying to point to where I was standing a moment ago. Then I understood. It wasn't me he was motioning to. His body convulsed. He began choking violently. That pink froth got redder and spilled from the corners of his lips. The monitors Luke had attached to the man erupted with alarms. His wife and daughter approached, but I blocked any physical contact between them and Ismail. Neither Luke nor I knew what we were dealing with. A bizarre medical affliction, a rare condition, poisoning, or maybe an unusual infection. But Luke and I gleamed in Mr. Hadidi's eyes. He wasn't trying to relay pain, or that he was scared of dying. He was showing genuine fear of danger encroaching his loved ones. This disease, this attack, it wasn't going to end with him. That's what he had been trying to tell us all along. And for the first time in my career, I felt completely out of my depth. The call to Main Street was supposed to be the last call of our shift. Instead, it became the beginning of the worst nightmare of our lives. Stay tuned and stand by.